Everybody. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Brandy and I are back with our Wellness Wednesday series. We come live a couple of times a month just to bring you all of the newest, the latest, the greatest things to really help you know and understand your mental health and wellness and to help you take it to a new level. We want you living your absolute best life possible. And there's so much to it. Brandy and I connected a few months back, and we've just really been rolling with this because we know and understand the importance of what mental health is actually all about and how to help you really improve and just like I said, live your very best life. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Jazzy Will. I'm a certified mental health coach and a food first specialist, guys. And my passion, the one thing that really drives me out of bed in the morning is really helping to inspire you to be your very best, no matter what you're doing, where you're at in your lives, or the direction that you're moving. I'm here to help you with all of that. And my partner is Brandy Benton. I absolutely love this lady. She is amazing. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm Brandy Benton, and I'm a mind-body coach. I specialize in anxiety and emotional processing, and I really use those sneaky things that are underneath that are causing you energy blocks, procrastination, and fear. And I love to help people get on things and really start manifesting the life that they
Did I lose you, Brandy? I hope it's not me.
Okay.
You cut out there at the end. All good. Hopefully, guys, you know what? Our Wi-Fi lasts. I know we've been having a few technical issues here, so please bear with us. But, a couple of weeks ago when we came live, we were talking about the role that our environment plays on our mental health and wellness. And, Brandy, at first, when we first kind of started talking about this, I know there's like 10 different areas, and that's just kind of like a tip of the iceberg, but 10 different areas in our environment that do affect our mental health and wellness. And, we got through a number of those, and I'm going to just kind of read some of those to you guys so that you kind of know what we covered last. We talked about toxic versus supportive relationships. We talked about clutter, which is a huge one. A lot of people don't understand what that clutter is all about and how it does involve our mental health and wellness. We talked about nature and mental restoration. We talked about noise pollution. We talked about digital overload. And I don't think that we got to this next one. So this is kind of where we want to really kind of start and pick up today. And that is the workplace culture and burnout. Brandy, I don't know about you, but I am hearing that word more and more and more and more. To me, what I've been taught and what I've learned about burnout is basically when you're putting, your heart and your soul and you're all into something and you feel like you're getting nowhere. And that's when burnout really sets in. And that's what burnout is to me. I'll let you take it over.
Yeah.
Because you've always got such great advice.
I love that you said that, right? Like you put your heart and your soul, you can like feel it, right? When you're like that hopelessness of like, I've done everything that I can and I'm not getting anywhere, and what that feels like. And I can see what that might feel like emotionally, energetically. Now pulling back and looking at the nervous system, and from a nervous system perspective, a lot of times that burnout happens when you're in a stress cycle and you're not actually able to come out of it, right? And this is a lot of people where you're waking up and you're already thinking about your to-do list. You're already thinking about maybe the fear of all the things that you need to do that you don't know if you can get them done, or projects on your plate that you're afraid you're going to fail at, or someone's going to get mad at you, you're going to get fired, your boss isn't going to like you, your coworkers are going to be mad you didn't finish that thing you were supposed to do. And you're waking up to a stress bomb. And that is just the first 10 minutes that you're awake. And then you go to work, and now imagine that you're surrounded by colleagues that are in that same stress, that same fear, and you're feeding off of each other. And it's actually intensifying and getting worse, right? And we see that in toxic work environments, right? Especially when there isn't great leadership and they're almost using fear. This was a very old management tactic that would actually be intentional, where managers would kind of want to give you deadlines or stretch assignments that would get you a little bit nervous or afraid so that you would strive even harder, right? Like keep them kind of at that edge. And what we're finding is the nervous system doesn't work well like that. It gets things done initially because you're driven by survival, you're driven by fear, but in the long run, it burns you out, right? This is imagining driving on the freeway in your car at 110 every single day. Yeah, your car might do it for a short chase if you need to, but it's going to burn out eventually if you do that from a nervous system perspective. People are not down, they're not resetting, they're not nourishing, they're not getting the rest that they need. Bodies need consistent rest throughout the day. When I was in the corporate work environment, it was multiple places across the board. It was standard for people to eat lunch at their desk, not rest, not nourish, not connect, not do the things that we're wired to do that help us to actually thrive and be more productive and more creative. But we were taught to do the most and maximize our output. And then you create that toxic work environment that leads ultimately to burnout.
Yeah, and you said something really interesting, about to not do what we were intended to do. I mean, and I think as a society, and this is huge in our environment. As a society, we've been drawn away from the things that our bodies need for nourishment, which is why we're seeing more and more and more burnout all of the time. I mean, it's just, to me, it's in epic proportion to I've recognized when I'm starting to go down that path. So I've learned how to reel it in and pull back, right? And make the adjustments. And I really think that that's important, that people do first have the ability to be able to recognize this. What are some things that people can do to help them, once they've recognized it, to help them maneuver through that burnout or move beyond it?
Yeah, great question. So I really advise that if you're waking up and you're already feeling in stress, doing things that are starting to reset you, right? It's easy to go onto YouTube and just look up polyvagal nervous system reset. Do a few exercises that bring you back to your body, get you reconnected. We've done some of them on this show. So I'm not going to rehash that or whatever, but starting to recognize, how do you know that you're in stress? How do you know that you're headed towards burnout? It's your thoughts, right? It's those thoughts that you wake up with. And then it's also you're in fear when you're in stress mode. You're going to feel more tense in your body. You're going to be pulled in. You're going to feel the pain of that. You might feel disconnected. You might procrastinate. You might feel shut down. You might wake up feeling tired, fatigued. These are all signs. So when you recognize those signs of the fear thoughts, you recognize the signs of the stress in the day by resetting. Go do some of those exercises. And then when you get into your workplace, and again, you notice the body get revved up, you get that email, you notice the shoulders go up, you feel the fear. You go back and you reset again, and do this several times throughout the day. But your body is your guide, your fear, and they are telling you. And when you notice your body is not feeling safe, do the things that you need to do to bring it back down. One of the things I love to do is actually just go into the bathroom, take 30 seconds to 2 minutes to either just shake it out or to push up against a wall and bring all of that fear energy, right? That fear energy wants to run, wants to fight, push it through my body and then come back down. That's going to be huge in getting that cortisol out of your system and helping you to reset and feeling a little bit more clear. Also, a major factor is sometimes you have to just be willing to embrace that you're going to be the weirdo in the office. You're going to be the person that at lunchtime gets up and goes for a walk. You're going to be the person that eats your lunch, actually at a lunch table instead of, and I know that because those norms are so built into our workplaces, it's hard to do it, right? It's hard to be the person that's walking when no one else is walking. It's hard to be the person that goes and leaves the office and gets out of the toxic environment and takes a lunch break when everyone else is like, we have a deadline and we're not going to get it. It's going to be so hard. And you're like, hey, I'm going out to lunch. That can be one of the most challenging things, but most honestly, self-care things that you can do is pull yourself out of that environment. Give yourself, your nervous system that break. Get away from the people that are blah, 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 blah.
I love that.
You're laughing.
I know, because I love this.
I feel like you know.
I do know, and I've been there and I've done that. But you know what? Somebody needs to drop in the comment box, buck the workplace culture and be a weirdo. Be that weirdo. I mean, I love the way, that's what I was talking about. I'm like going, I'm the weirdo because I'm the one that goes out for the walks and I get out of the building and I connect with nature and or even like when I'm at home and I'm working on my business, it's like, I will just stop, drop. You remember they'll stop, drop and roll like you were taught in school when there was, if you caught on fire, you stop, drop and roll, right? Well, mine is stop, drop and walk. That's what I need to do because I have learned that helps me relieve so much tension and anxiety. So, stop the workplace madness and be the weirdo. Go for the walk. Do whatever. I love that. I really love that analogy. Next is air quality and brain fog. We do not realize the impact that our air quality does play on our environment. I feel very blessed. I live out in the country, but I know that even like right now, the pollen is super high. And I know that affects me. There's so many different ways that our air quality does affect our mental health and wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. That one, I have to say, I don't have a ton of information on, but I will say this, that I do 100% believe that we create the environments that we're working in through our intention, through our energy. And for me, one of the biggest things that impacts kind of my energy level, me feeling that spark of life within myself, is having the window cracked open a little bit, getting that fresh air, like finding that connection to nature and to energy and to life force through that breeze that is coming in, right? As it like touches my face or tickles my skin, like that makes me feel so alive. It's actually one of my top 5 favorite things.
I love that. We've touched on this next one a lot. In fact, we did a couple of actual live videos on that, and that is sleep quality and emotional regulation. I used to be the person that it was like, if I get 4 hours of sleep, I'm good. I can just keep going and going and going and going and going. And I learned very quickly that it didn't work that way. So really sleep quality, we don't really understand the full impact that our sleep does play on our mental health and wellness.
Yeah, 100%. You can feel the difference between a great night's sleep where you wake up and you feel rested, you feel emotionally stable, grounded, right? Almost as if you're like more plugged in to the earth, like you've got this foundation that you're standing on.
Yeah.
Versus when you wake up and you haven't had that nourishment, you haven't had that renewal that you need, and all of the things that happen, the rest and repair that happens to our nervous systems, You
Mhm.
feel it because, at least for me, like there's like a dirty zigzag energy that is running through my body. I might feel a level of energy, but it's not clean fuel energy. In fact, if you're running on energy, usually after like a few hours of sleep, the likelihood is you're in fear energy. Your body is giving you a cocktail of stress
Cortisol.
hormones so that you can then keep, right? So that you can continue to do your work, right? So you stay energized. But that is not clean running fuel. And you'll feel it in your body. And again, to burnout, you will eventually
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And so, really recognizing that, guys, and getting that good quality sleep is so important. How about our food and like our environmental influences around us? I see this in different cultures. I see it, like for me, the big thing was when I was actually in the education field. I was in the education field for over 25 years, and our big thing was it always seemed like somebody had food in the lounge area.
Yeah.
I was the weirdo that stepped up and said, hey, let's kind of start regulating this, because it was like every day somebody would bring food for somebody's birthday, and I'm like going, everybody has a birthday when there's this many people in the office.
Right.
We've got a birthday every day. There's always food in the lounge. So
Right.
I tried to organize that and go, we're going to do this once a month. We're going to celebrate birthdays once a month. Everybody's birthday for the month of March, we're going to celebrate at the end of the month, and we're going to do one great big huge food day. But
Mhm.
our food plays such an impact in our lives, and our cultures do set that. There's actually research out there right now, Brandy, that says most of the things that we originally thought was genetic, that we inherited from our families, was not. It's environmentally from what we learned growing up. Like,
Mhm.
it was the food that was brought into our houses that we were taught to eat, right? It was the things that we went out with our families and our friends, and that's where that cultural
Yeah.
influence comes into play when it comes to our foods.
I love that you're bringing in not food from a nutrition perspective, but from a cultural perspective and like the way that we're looking at this. So thinking back to like office and office culture, I mean, we must have been in very similar cultures, and I'm sure this is pretty normal actually. But the ways that we would come together or celebrate were all around ways that honestly just connect us from our bodies, right? Because how do you feel after you eat the cupcake or the donut? You don't feel vibrant, you don't feel alive, right? Even if you looked at that piece of food, you wouldn't think, oh, yeah, this has a lot of energy and life force and connection to earth. You're like, where did this thing come from? UFO, right? Like, this is not healthy.
The
Like, this is
aliens have
not, I'm not
landed.
gonna, you're not gonna look at it and be like, in an hour after eating this, I will feel so good. I will feel like my most radiant self. You know you're gonna have a stomach ache and probably some brain fog. But we do it anyway. We put these things in our bodies because this is the way that we connect as a social group. And we want to belong and we want to connect, and we're social animals. And so thinking back around how we change this within our workplaces and our work culture, all of us want to be connected to our bodies. We want to feel alive. We want to feel vibrant. We want to play. We want to have meaningful conversations and connect with others. So, can we start weaving that into our workplace culture instead of connecting through food? Right? It's as simple as, hey, instead of inviting your coworker to maybe go grab a donut and a coffee with you, how about you invite them to go on a walk with you? Right? How about instead of celebrating birthdays through just cake, you say, let's celebrate birthdays with cake and a hula hoop contest? Or let's do birthdays. Like, you don't have to necessarily pull the food out. If the food is the glue, and that's what's bringing people to the watering hole, you don't have to delete the food or get rid of it, but you can bring in other ways for people to connect to their bodies, feel more of their radiance, and get into a more regulated nervous system state, right? Play, that activation. So I was in a workplace very similar to yours where food was everything. And we actually created a monthly engagement, um, like party essentially during lunches where we would come together and we would play games or we would learn something new. So one month we had a hula hoop contest. One month we did knife skills. Someone came in with knives and showed us like how to cut vegetables and how to do that really easily and quickly. We did all different sorts of games, but it was a way for us to come together, have fun, connect, reset our nervous systems, right? Because we were nourishing, we were playing, we we're having a good time, and not have it be centralized around food.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. And you know what? Our last one is culture and social environment. We've already really kind of talked about culture, but our social environment is probably, to me, one of the hardest things to navigate as far as our environment is concerned. I am on the second time through. I'm reading a book. It's called Killing Comparison by Nona Jones. Um, Phenomenal book, and she takes time to really talk about the effects that our social lives play in our wellness. I mean, our overall wellness. And it's so easy. We get on social media, or we get around our neighbors, or friends or whatever. It is so easy to fall into that comparison trap, taking us down a really bad alley. And I think, really creating some awareness in your life around that can be so helpful in so many ways.
100%. I like to think that within our bodies, right, we are little sanctuaries everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, we're holding energy, right? Emotions, and we're transmitting that energy into any. And so through our intentions, bodies, we can be emissaries of kindness and gratitude, or and that judgment and that comparison. And whether that means that you're breaking people down or you're building yourself up, right? What can you do instead, right? Through your intention. I mean, I like to set a little bit of intention before day, right? And just asking, like, let me be present, let me be in kindness, let me be in love. And when I get into that fear place, reminding myself, like, ooh, okay, I feel that fear coming up, but I don't want to participate in it, right? I set an intention to be in kindness today. Right. And so when I feel myself going there, I can do some activities like, okay, I'm going to look at this person and I'm going to be fully present with them, right? So that's one thing I can do. Or if it's really intense, I can go, okay, I can think of 3 positive things about this person. I want to think about 3 positive things about this person. Or if I'm interacting with someone, I might want to be like, what might it be like to be in their shoes? Rather than thinking, what's my response going to be? What am I going to say? I can think, oh, what might it be like to be in their shoes right now and to feel this thing that they're going through, right? And of course, that's just a simplified way of talking about empathy. But recognizing that we are,
and that's a huge right there. That right there is a huge game changer for people. If you really stop and take, I mean, I used to do this when I was raising my kids. When they were going through stages and phases, I would be like, put yourself back at their age. How did you react? What were your thoughts? What were, and I mean, that can be such a powerful tool for people if they really, really put it to use. What do you think this person is feeling right now? What are they going through? What might be happening in their life right now, for this actual thing to be taking place? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And that empathy, fear, right? And so why do we get judgmental? We get judgment and fear. It's a nervous system response that is a socialized response, right? but it just means that our nervous system got into a place where it started to make itself feel safe, was to start judging other people so that it could feel strong and good again, right? But we
Yeah.
have other feeling connected, feeling strong, and feeling safe.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so before we close up here though, Brandy, you and I have something coming up really, really big
We do.
that I am super excited about. Super excited about. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So you and I on April 29th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time are going to be doing a 1 hour training on talking about some of the underlying causes of anxiety. And this isn't about information. This is value packed. We're going to give you actual exercises to help you reset your nervous system. And then Jazzy's going to talk about, from a nutrition perspective, what you can do to heal and manage your anxiety. And we'll go a little bit into supplements and how that can also be hugely beneficial to healing and sustaining your nervous system.
I'm telling you, I am so excited about this, guys. If you would like some more information, hit me up in the comment box and we will send it all over to you. Like Brandy said, this is going to be hands-on stuff. This is going to be stuff that you're going to be able to walk away with and put to use. You know, I mean, we come to you on Wednesdays, you know, a couple of times a month and talk about different things and drop a strategy here or there. But we're basically talking about the things that affect your mental health and wellness, guys. This is going to be anxiety driven. So, you know, if you struggle or if you want some more information about any of this, please let us know. Like I said, I cannot wait to actually get this thing happening because I know what we're going to be doing. And I know the value in all of it. So I'm really excited about it. Like I said, guys, in the comment box, hit me up and we will get you the information to get registered for the actual event. That is at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, that we'll be doing this and everything in between. So let us know if you'd like to join us. We would love to have you. It's absolutely free. There is no charge for this. And I'm telling you, you will walk away. What's that saying? Under promise, over deliver. That's what we're going to be doing. So Brandy, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, just love and light. Love and light.
There we go. Hey guys, you know what? Go out, take on the rest of your day and the rest of your week with grace and gratitude and drop it in the comment box if you want us to hit you up. We'll send over the information. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Mwah.